Today, I'm going to show you my process and how I made 3 of my own tailor's hams. This is Life by Design. My name is Erin. Let's get into it. So the first thing I will be doing is sketching out the patterns that I will be using for the 3 different tailor's hams. I used the exact ones that I found on my reference photos. I altered some of the measurements. Not for this first one that you see right now. This one is exactly the same as my inspiration video, or as the woman whose video I was inspired by. This is the long, thin tailor's hams that I think is best for sleeves and longer hemlines and things like that. Or seams. You see me using the compass, still getting used to these handy dandy things. And this one I believe is 9 centimeters wide, and what does it say? 40 centimeters wide, 9 centimeters. Okay, let's try this again. 40 centimeters long, 9 centimeters wide, and it's 3 centimeters. Okay, so her video is a little bit better in the explanation of it. She has a really nice diagram in her videos that I liked. That's why I used it. And this paper that I am using is something I bought. I think I bought it at IKEA a long time ago. And I've been using it for the last 5 or so years, 4 or 5 years now. Yeah, it's insane. I use it for wrapping gifts. I use it for backdrops. I use it for everything. It's thick. I still think I have half of it left. So I use it for everything. I usually like to use it for my patterns. Now with this one is where I altered, because I thought of the circle was just too big for what it had to be, so I kind of shrinked it a little bit, so it wasn't as big as hers. Yeah, I just wanted it a little bit smaller. Let's see, and my green marker. Okay, so that's a 6 centimeter wide circle, and the other one was a 9 centimeter in diameter circle. And yeah, just cutting it out. Snip, snip. Now the last one is the rounded triangle. And the shape of this one was pretty hard to get in touch with, but it works. It's springtime in Denmark, and it's gorgeous outside because all the cherry blossoms and magnolias are blooming, so it's just gorgeous. This morning, while I was editing this video, a sparrow decided I have my door open to my terrace. It was cracked open maybe a good 4 inches or something, just to let some air in. And he just hopped up into the terrace and peeked his little head in, and then hopped right into my house. And I have almost floor-to-ceiling windows in my living room, and he's just banging his head against that, trying to get out. That poor thing. I don't know what he was thinking. But yeah. Yeah, so here's where, we just saw. We just saw me fitzing around with the shape. But I like it. It's kind of like a more rounded candy corn, I think. Yeah. And the top line is 15.5, and the bottom was, I think, 30. And now the beautiful tartan. And here I'm just trying to figure out how to use the least amount of fabric to create some of this. So I fits it around a little bit, but not too much. And here's the mistake I made, is the middle one, the one that looks like a kidney bean. I did that face down. Yeah. And I did it same face down when I did the white cotton, when I cut out the white cotton as well. So they didn't quite match. But I made it work. I just flipped one of them inside out, so it was okay. So, and now I'm taking a white pencil and marking it along, just so I know where the seam line needs to go. Oh, I'm supposed to be talking. Crap, I'm just watching my own video. Sometimes it's just relaxing. Like, I love watching Bernadette Banner's videos because they are a hell of a lot more well done than mine are right now. Oh, this is the satisfying crunch. Crunch, 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 crunch. Yes. Unfortunately, I don't know where the sound went for this clip because it would have been nice to hear the crunch, crunch, crunch. And I'm using the green marker that I used on the paper to mark around for the seam line on the white part. I wasn't too worried about the color showing through because it's almost the same green as the tartan, so I was not worried about it at all. This is where I do a bit of a funny. So I decided to pin along the seam lines. Like, I didn't go parallel? No, perpendicular. Is that the right word? Yeah, I think it's perpendicular to, I pinned along the seam lines, like running with the seam line, which I end up redoing anyway, because when I run it through the sewing machine, yeah, it was not good. Oh, and I'm drawing where I want to keep it open to fill it later. I should have made these so much wider when I tried to fill them. Please remember, if you do this yourself, to make the fill areas wide, to be able to shove as much stuff in there at one time, so you don't have to suffer like I did. See, this is how I should have pinned the other one, but I didn't, because I don't know why. Sometimes I don't know why I do things. It could be the ADHD, it could just be me. It's probably both. Oh. I tell you, after I got diagnosed with ADHD, I've learned so much about myself. Especially the way I do projects. Like, normally if I would have started something like this before, I would have not finished it. And I would have felt completely bad about myself for not finishing it. It would have been halfway done. Like, I never would have filled it up with stuffing or anything. Oh, this is the pretty shot. And here, I am actually using my sewing machine. I was terrified. It took a couple of minutes to get it working right and the tension right. But this thing works like a dream. I don't know why I was so scared of it. It is so gorgeous and so easy to use. There's so much control. I did have to get used to sewing or pushing something through with one hand, but that was completely fine. And with this one, there is no back stitch, so I have to lift the foot up, turn the thing around, and then do it again. But that doesn't bother me. That's nice, tight stitching. Oh, it was gorgeous. I really enjoyed using this. I really did. And, like I was saying before, I wouldn't have never finished this. It would have just sat like halfway done. But now it's because I work on one project at a time from start to finish, and I don't move on until I finish the project. It's helped a little bit more, knowing that it's not a personality flaw. It's more of how my brain works. So, Why did I lift the foot up there? I have no idea. Anyway. And I'm just sliding these pins off into a little plate that you don't see at the bottom there. Did you just see me? Oh, I just love the hand crank. It's so nice. It's so nice. When I've used modern like Singer sewing machines, I was always terrified. I could never get the speed right. It was always just too fast for me. Oh, this is where my oldest decided to help mom. So he was allowed to hand crank. He loves helping. He's such a good helper. Yeah. He is so curious about sewing and everything domestic and stuff. He's such a good, and he does everything like full heart. Yeah. I love him to death. Yep. Kiss break. So now I remember that his arm got tired. And he's telling me where I had to go. He was very much in like business, like boss mode, telling me exactly what I had to do, where I had to go. And now I came to the other side to get a closer look. He wanted to finish it. His arm wasn't tired enough for that. And there's the completed 3. And here I'm just using my pinking shears to clip. I started making triangles and then I was like, oh no, this is gonna take forever. So I just started nipping slots every centimeter or so, or half a centimeter or something. Now this was hell incarnate. Trying to stuff this wood shaving bedding into this. I couldn't figure out how to do it. I used paper funnels. It just was not working for me. It would, the wood would get stuffed, the funnel would get smaller. I would have to push things through with a pencil. I had to squish it. It got everywhere. It clung to the wool. It clung to my pants. It was just awful. It was just awful. The woman whose video I took the inspiration from, she used fabric bits and pieces, but I didn't have enough for 3 of these. And during my research, they said these basically like hamster bedding would be perfect for this because it's wood. And I also had the idea where maybe I could put some lavender scented oil drops or something into them so they smell good when they get heated. I just I was so frustrated. And here's my little helper helping again. Oh, it was just I was not happy with this. I think it took a good hour and a half till it was all of them were filled. Oy, never ever again. Now I'm just going to invisible stitch the seams closed, and I'm using a hooked needle for it. I don't know, I like the hooked needle for doing invisible stitches. I don't know why, I just like it. So yeah. And I love hand sewing. Is my favorite thing. Hand sewing is definitely my favorite type of sewing. I like the control with hand sewing. I have a control issue. I've realized I have an issue with letting somebody else control something. Oh, you ever wonder when is it your personality, is it your ADHD, or is it your childhood trauma that's actually why you do the things you do? I feel like that all the time now. If you hear a crack, it's my jaw. And I tried to be really fancy with the shot, but it was just too So here are the Tailor's hems in action. I'm using this on one of my favorite retro dresses to pull down the sleeve hem. And I also used it to kind of make the darts there more pronounced in the front. Here I was just testing how hot it would actually get. Now I'm pressing down the seams in the shoulder. And here I'm using the triangle Tailor's hem on a shirt to smooth out this whole shoulder seam. And now to do a rounded collar as well. Works so much better than just a flat one, especially when I fold it now like I'm doing. So I get that nice crisp curve. So this is the project recap of the Tailor's hems. I have very little makeup on today because I'm tired. I have my kids, so you can hear the crap in the background. But yeah, I am really, really happy about what I created. I'm like so giddy. I used my sewing machine, so I got over that fear. And she's just gorgeous, and I love the control I have with the hand crank and not the machine of Helga. So sweetie sweet, what can I say? So now I'm going to go through, and I just finally found a place where I can buy proper like Singer machine oil. So I'm gonna buy her and then oil her again before I do another project with her, but that should be fine. But I am like so happy with how these turned out, although I hated stuffing them with the thing. But that's when I did my research into what you stuff them with, they said that was the best. So whatever, I'm still taking my damn lint roller and just taking as much shit as I can off of it. But I think this one's my favorite. I almost made it into a heart. I thought about it. I didn't fill it so stuffed, so it's a little bit more moldable. I don't know if I'm gonna have to go back and redo it. I know I probably might come back and add some more filling in here because it's a little thin here. But we'll see. And this one, it's my mustache. I love it. I might again stuff this one because it's a little thin in the middle, but I didn't want it too rounded. I wanted it flat, so it's easier to slide in and things, not so poofy if the sleeves are maybe too thin or whatever. But I figure worst comes to worst with this one, it'd be like a nice hole. I'm so nervous asking for this for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, if you've liked this video, please hit the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. I post every Friday. Yeah, and remember to live a life by design, not by default. Hi.